little stepper, like a pillow under my butt. I feel like I'm really, really short. Like, okay, there you go.
Is that better?
Yeah. This felt quite...
What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of
Morning Oats.
I am here with
Josie Mai.
Not May.
Mai.
I usually say May.
Brian always says May.
We're at the YouTube house still, you guys. So I just wanted to, what I've been really liking doing on Morning Oats is when I'm with someone that I enjoy and that I love and that I feel, well, pretty much what I've realized is that everyone has a story to tell, right? So it's really cool. It's been really cool for me to be able to almost like interview people on the show. It's weird calling it a show. I always do this, but people are like, whenever I do like show, people are like, it's a show, stop doing quality. I'm sorry. So whenever I have someone that I feel like has a story, which I've realized that almost everyone does, is I just like to people tell their story and then give tips with, you know, whatever it is that you've learned. So if you know anything about Josie, you would know that she has an awesome story of what she's been through. So if you just kind of want to talk about what you've been through, it's literally almost the exact opposite of what I dealt with in the beginning of my journey. So it's just an interesting.
Okay. So. I'll give like a very quick rundown.
Yes.
I have like a full transformation story. I think it's like 25 minutes though.
Yeah. It's on your channel, right?
Yeah. But so basically when I first started my lifestyle change, I thought the only way was to go low carb, very low calorie, cardio all the time. So what I ended up doing was eating around like 600 calories a day, basically just vegetables and protein. I worked out for like 2 to 3 hours a day, and I got to a low body fat or a low body weight as well. But I was never happy with myself. I still thought I was too big, not skinny enough. My thighs weren't small enough. My collarbones and hip bones weren't like protruding enough. It was, I always wanted to. I had an idea in my mind, body dysmorphia. Did
you ever get to that point where I've seen this? I mean, I don't know that much, but you see those girls that like will post pictures of these girls that are really, really tiny, skinny, that are like anorexic and they'll be like goals. Did you ever like get to like want to look like that?
No, I never did.
Okay.
I just like didn't see myself as my goals. But I never strived to be like
anorexic, small. Okay.
No, never like that. But and then. My parents came to me and told me like this is unhealthy. I went through amenorrhea. If you don't know what that is, it's like when females lose their menstrual cycle, because I guess a lot of factors can go into that, like low body fat, drastic weight loss, whatever. But I went through that, and then my parents were like, okay, you need to really, like, we see that you're fatigued, we see that you're weak. Like I was doing laundry and I couldn't even I couldn't fold my clothes. And my mom was like, okay, you really need to do something else and change. So then I like had to like started to eat more food, but for a lot of people it was hard to get out of the under-eating stage and those tendencies. But I guess for me, my body was just like, okay, finally, food. So I was like, let's eat some food. And so then I went to binge eating because I had been so restricted for so long. Yeah,
it's very similar to, I've talked about this before on mine, is I've dealt with that same thing. So obviously my first thing was overeating, right? And then I went to being over restrictive, and luckily I found lifting and I decided that I wanted to lift, and that helped me eat more. But then from there it went to being like, I want to restrict myself, so then I was still kind of too restrictive, and then I would be restricted for 3 days and binge. It was almost every time. It was like 3 days good and then huge binge. So, did you hear that? There's like thunder going on around here. It's pretty crazy.
No, that's exactly what happened. So like the binging came because it was like, oh, I get to eat this cookie. Well, I'll start my diet tomorrow. But because I'm starting it tomorrow and I'm gonna say no more cookies for the rest of my life, I might as well eat the whole box of cookies right now.
Yeah, I would do the same thing. Like, that's why I try and tell people not to, like, don't think of foods as good and bad, because once you start doing that, you eat that, whatever food it is that you say, like a donut, right, is bad. You eat one and then in your head, right, I messed up, might as well, like I already messed up pretty bad, so might as well just have as much as I want.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then that's when you start binging and you're like, I just ate 13 donuts right now.
Yeah,
so, I know exactly what you mean.
A crazy cycle. But then that went on for, I can say that went on for like a few years almost, because I went to If It Fits Your Macros, which taught me that there are no clean versus dirty foods, no healthy versus unhealthy. It's just like the nutrient quality. But I felt like when I made that switch in my mind, whereas let's say, oh, I messed up and I ate this dirty food, eat all the dirty foods. With If It Fits Your Macros, I was like, okay, I ate an Oreo, but it still fit within my numbers. So now I can eat like other things that still fit within my numbers. And I thought of like numbers helped me realize that it's not good or bad.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't keep doing bad because I did one bad thing.
Exactly.
But in this way, it's like, oh, I had numbers. Now I can just fit the rest of the numbers in my day and start again tomorrow. And
it's really, when you start tracking, it's really like, it opens you up, and it's really like almost, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you start to realize that it's not like bad versus good. It's like all this stuff can fit inside of this diet. It's like freeing. There we go. That's the word I was looking
flexible.
for. It's really freeing.
Yeah.
And so you started doing that, and then now you started doing intuitive eating, right?
Whenever I restrict myself, I find myself like I'm just very stubborn.
Yeah.
So when I started doing If It's Your Macros, I was like, yay, I'm no more binging. It's so awesome. But then I was like, oh, I went over my numbers today, so I might as well.
Exactly, yes.
No matter what type of diet I was on, like if it's restricting, I will find a way to just fight back. So I was like, I'm tired of this. I can't track anymore. I can't do this anymore. Like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I stick to a diet? Then I just fell off kind of. And I remember on my Instagram, I would post throwbacks because I didn't have any pictures of myself that I was happy with. And no one really knew because I never really talked about it. But I just went to a point where I'm like, I'm just gonna be happy and eat all the food that I want. I'm not gonna work out anymore. Why try anymore? Because I've tried every diet and I just can't stick with it. So then I picked up the book Intuitive Eating. It's the purple edition, I think the third, it's the newest one. And it literally told me like that we're not really meant for diets. You're kind of just meant, like your body will know when it's hungry, when it's full. Like, you know, when you feel hungry, that's when you should eat. And then when you're like stuffed, you should stop eating at that point. And it talked a lot about the whole restricting mindset. Like, why can't you stick to it? Because you're not supposed to say no to everything for the rest of your life. Everything should be enjoyed in moderation, not deprivation. And you have to like fight for that balance. Like my mottos in life, fighting for balance. And basically, when I read it, I started to follow it. It's like you're on a hunger scale, 1 to 10. Like I guess around 5 or 6 to 8, you stop eating or something. But I don't really literally intuitive eat because I know sometimes I not overeat, but I eat a little bit more to get, let's say, on a 9 fullness factor, so that I can last a few more hours.
Because you know that you're not gonna be able to eat for a little bit. So
I don't intuitive eat in that way. I'm like common sense eating, I think. I'm living as if I did before a diet.
Exactly. Exactly. So what would be the tips that you would give someone that's maybe they're going through maybe some of the steps that you took, like from going from being cutting back way too much, you know what I mean, to getting into IFYM, to getting into intuitive eating? What would be like just some roundabout tips to give someone that might be going through that? Because there's a lot of people that are.
Yeah, definitely. I know a lot of people are like, what's the fastest way I can lose weight to get into a bikini this summer or into the spring break? And what fad diet's the best? Do you recommend a detox or a juice cleanse or none of that? Like, I started with the fad diet. It was like a low carb fad 2-week diet. And it really does you more harm in the long run because you can't expect to maintain on 700 calories a day, no carbs, no cookies for the rest of your life. Because I ended up gaining all the weight back plus more. So first, don't go for any fad diets. While it may suck because you always want right here, right now, I want results right now, you have to have the bigger picture in mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
What can I maintain? I've seen in your video, what can you maintain 5 years from now, 10 years from now,
definitely,
next month, whatever else like that. Like really think about the big picture. Although you want immediate gratification, what can you really hold on to in the future? And that's like my biggest tip is to not let yourself get into the really restrictive parts because it's not good.
Yeah. So like something that I think that was awesome. Something that I think that a lot of people that might be watching this that are heavier, that you need to realize that there's tons of people that are going through eating disorders, eating whatever you want to call it, right? Just because someone's not like overweight doesn't mean that they might not be dealing with something. So that's kind of why I'm always like, just be nice to everyone. You never know what somebody is going through. Like you would never look, like people say they would never look at me and think that I was obese, right? They would never look at you and think that you had a disorder. You know what I mean? You never know what someone's going through. And like a couple tips that I would have with any sort of eating disorders, first off is don't lie to yourself. If you feel like you have one, let yourself, like, be honest with yourself, because that's huge, right? Be honest with yourself. Say, I do have this disorder. What can I do to fix it? Because if you don't tell yourself, if you don't let yourself believe that you have it, you're never going to work on it, right? So let yourself, like, be honest with yourself. There's nothing wrong with it. There are so many people dealing with disorders, and if you're under eating, I promise you, it's not sustainable. And I get that you are losing so much weight really fast, and you're really happy with the progress. But after a while, you're gonna start being tired. You're gonna start being literally not feeling like the person that you should. Like you were saying, you couldn't even fold laundry and stuff like that. So I get that. It's easy to get into that mindset because you see the weight is dropping, but you have to think how long can I sustain this? Sustainability is huge.
And what's scary is that I do get emails. Oh, another tip along those lines, like don't hold it all into yourself, because that's what I did, and I didn't tell anybody in my physical life. Like so I would find myself in the kitchen like just eating everything, and I was like I feel so alone. Like there's no one to talk to. So I definitely recommend doing that, because I've had a few people email me, but I'm like, I asked them, do you have anybody in your physical life that can help you? And they say no. So I recommend you do that. But other than that, I had something else. What was it? What you were saying? Hold on.
I was talking about you know what I mean. Be honest with yourself.
Okay.
Don't if you are dealing with something, like you have to
But a lot of people with that are very scared. Like they want to get out of the under eating, they just don't know how to.
Yeah, it is scary.
They're gonna blow up.
I remember when I started, like even with this bulk, you guys are familiar that I'm bulking now. I was so incredibly nervous, and I literally am struggling gaining weight right now. Yeah. So like you are gonna, like if you have been under eating for a very long time, you are gonna gain weight right away. Let's just be honest, right? If you've been eating 500 calories a day and you try and up it, you have to do it slowly. But you are gonna gain a little bit of weight, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But like another tip that I would give you, especially if you're going, so a lot of people are dealing with the whole like, they're tracking their macros and then they're just being too ridiculous with it, right? If you're struggling with that, like what would be some tips to go from, you know what I mean, tracking and being like super obsessive about that to maybe trying to get into like intuitive eating? Yeah,
that's a good question that a lot of people ask. Whereas for me, I literally just deleted my MyFitnessPal and I was like, screw you, counting macros. But if I do have to like give tips on that, I don't know, I would change it maybe from doing grams, maybe try and do like
cups,
other serving sizes.
Yeah.
Cups, tablespoons, not meticulously counting like that. And then from that you can eyeball it, like let's say 4 ounces of steak is the size of an iPhone.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, or a fist.
That's great. And then like, there's nothing wrong with tracking, and I feel like it's really did help me, because
it's really good. Yeah.
If I didn't start tracking, I wouldn't be able to intuitive eat at like how because you guys know that I haven't been tracking for the past few weeks, and it's been freeing. It's been a lot of it's because of her, but it's been really awesome. Now there's nothing wrong with tracking. I don't want you guys to think that, but if you are someone that gets obsessive about it, and then you're not living right, you're not going out with your friends, and you're not living your life, that's when there's something wrong with it, right?
Yeah, when it controls you.
If the tip I would give you is just like, you have to, if maybe you're not even struggling. If you're not struggling with tracking macros and you feel like you're doing fine, then absolutely keep doing what you're doing. But if you feel like, okay, this is getting ridiculous, I can't even go out to eat, then exactly what you were saying, like try and wean off of it slowly, and then as you're doing it, try and learn, like every time that you are weighing out maybe 8 ounces of chicken, look at it and be like, okay, I know what this looks like, so now next time I don't have to weigh it out. Something like that, right? That would be the tip. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Make sure you subscribe to Josie. She's here at the YouTube house with all of us. So thank you guys. Thank you for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. Of course, it's been nice.
And we didn't even show them our morning oats.
I've been eating. I'm almost done. It's a weird thing. Most people when they're on camera, they're like, I'm talking, I don't want to eat, but I'm like, but it's part of the show. But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. There was one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah. Look how buff I am.